You feel me? Yeah. So, but it's just nice to see that companies are doing something. You know, I just kind of wish it wouldn't take 40 years to do it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But I guess, you know, what else can I ask for? You know, they're doing what they need to do. Hopefully, a couple other airlines, you know, follow suit and do the same thing, so we can get our air to be cleaner and just take care of our earth, man. You know, I think that'd be a no-brainer.
Yeah, you clean your house at home.
Exactly.
We all live here.
Not everybody does.
Not everybody. But I mean, our clock is ticking. The Earth is gonna be around forever. Well, if we take care of it, maybe.
The Earth is gonna be around. It's the human population that's not gonna be around forever. Okay. The Earth is gonna be fine because once we die out, then it's just gonna get back to normal. It's gonna take a while, but it's gonna get back to normal. You know, nature's gonna be doing its thing. You're gonna have the animals doing its thing. Humans are the ones that are gonna die out and just be gone forever. You know, so it's not a fact of, oh, you know, the Earth is just gonna dry up or blow up or whatever in a couple of years. It's like, no, like we're not gonna be able to survive on the Earth anymore if it gets to a point where we can't even survive. You know what I'm saying? Like if natural disasters get more extreme, or if the air is that much more harder to breathe, or the sea level starts rising, you know, like what's gonna happen to us? You know, so it's not a fact of, let's say, the Earth because the Earth needs it. It's, let's say, the Earth because we don't do that, we're gonna die. You know, so it's
just a little bit.
Gotta do it, you know.
Yeah, 100%. So, all right, guys. Next thing we're gonna go on to. This is really interesting story. Now, you guys may not be familiar with Radiohead. They're a very, very, very famous rock band from the UK. Long story short, their hard drive was stolen, and the thief demanded $150,000 or pounds. I guess that'd be because it was over there. When I read the article, it said dollars. $150,000 to get the hard drive and all the music back. However, what they did essentially, they just released all the music because I'm sure they have backups of it, and then all the money that they garnered from the music with that ransom, they're going to donate that to a company that's about environmental group Extinction Rebellion, and I think that's super dope.
Yeah, man, that's awesome. I did read about that a couple of days ago when it happened, and I thought it was kind of funny.
It is kind of funny.
They're just like, we don't even care. But I mean, that's awesome that they did that. You know, they were just like, I mean, at the end of the day, it's music that was going to come out regardless. Yeah. You know, so they just put it out for us, and they didn't even let that man phase them, you know. So but that's awesome. You know, great way to use. One, it's publicity for you, you know, because you get in the news, and you're also doing a really great thing in just helping charities, you know. And that's really all you can ask for, especially when you're in a position like that. Even when you are faced with something that seems as horrible as someone taking your hard drive, that you can spin it and be like, boom.
Yeah, it's all about your mindset. Positive mindset. I know some people, you know, would handle that a certain way and sue or go after them for the cops or whatever they handle it. I mean, I'm sure there's going to be something behind that. I'm sure they'll catch the guy. But at the same time, you know, that's just a great way to take a negative situation, put a good spin on it, and turn it into something positive for the rest of the world.
Yeah.
100%. So, all right, guys, this is for positive news. Next thing we got to talk about, this is on a little bit darker note. We're going to talk about Sudan. Now, last week we covered Sudan a little bit, but I have more facts we cover more in depth. If you're not aware, right now there's tragedy going on in Sudan. Essentially, the people want to turn into a democratic government. However, their dictator, the leader, currently is not. And they are protesting, attempting to protest peacefully, but by doing that, they're all being slaughtered and killed by the masses. Now, per the New York Times, President Omar Hassan al-Bashir was a terrible leader and dictator for 30 years in Sudan. In April, the protesters filled the streets and then took him down. Now, after the fact, the protesters continued to protest because, as I said, they wanted to be a democracy. However, Lieutenant General Mohammed Hamadan, who was the enforcer under Hassan al-Bashir, claimed to support the revolution. He's like, all right, I got you guys back, etc., etc. Because they went outside protesting from that point, the Rapid Support Forces, which is like the military out there, began to attack. And at the time of me making my notes, there have been 70 rapes, over 100 dead, over 700 injured, and the bodies are being dumped in the Nile River. Now, also what was happening, I believe this is lifted now, but there was a media blackout, so the word could not be passed out onto the world what was actually going on in Sudan, so they're attempting to cover it up. And again, just touching on a point we made last week, be grateful for the life that you have here in America, because this is literally people speaking out, what me and you are doing right now, speaking out, saying how we feel, and then being killed for it. Massacred, raped, stolen from, beaten, just for saying how you feel. And it's crazy to understand how on the other side of the globe things like that are happening, but I sit here and then I complain about when somebody asks me to do something or I gotta pay for something.
Yeah.
It makes you really look at life in a whole different perspective.
Right. I mean, I don't know, man. That's what's going on over there. This isn't, you know, there's a couple of protests going on right now over there. Hong Kong is protesting as well.
Oh, I didn't know that.
You didn't know that?
No.
Yeah, they're protesting. I think it was about like 2 million people protesting. So yeah, like, and I think they have like 7 million as a population. So that's a big chunk of the population. But yeah, I think they're trying. Cause I think China was trying to like, I don't know 100%, but like they would be able to like arrest people from Hong Kong and charge them with crimes in China or something like that, and they're not feeling that, so they're like, no.
That happened.
Do that.
I mean, cut you off. That happened to a guy. Remember, it was like last year. This guy in Canada, he was doing something cyber illegally. He got arrested. He's Canadian. He was arrested in China, and they want to give him the death penalty or something like that.
Yeah.
But Canada was fighting it, so I think I kind of know what you're alluding to.
Yeah. No, I have no idea if those two are related or not. They might be, but then again, like I don't have all the facts, so I don't know how true this is. But I'm pretty sure that's like the gist of it. But yeah, they've been protesting peacefully for the most part. I do know I was reading some like people that have gone to the hospital have gotten arrested because like the police are getting like information from the hospital of who's going there.
Are you referring to Sudan or Hong Kong?
I'm talking about Hong Kong.
Okay.
Yeah, but it's pretty nuts over there too. But there's crazy amount of protests going on all over the place right now, and it just kind of sucks that the world's getting to that point. Especially in Sudan. I mean, with Hong Kong, you kind of can get the news and see what's going on over there. Like, you don't know what's going on unless they take out the media blackout and everything. And it's even worse over there. You know, they're just killing and they don't care.
Right.
You know, and like you said, it definitely does put perspective the kind of life that we live and take for granted every single day. Single day. Because we always complain about the smallest stuff. You know, we get complained about Starbucks being out of caramel, so I can't get caramel in my coffee. You know, and that ruins your day. And you're like, yo, at least you get coffee. You know what I'm saying? At least you have the money to do that. You know, you just gotta always look at the bright side of things, man, because it could be so much worse. Even on your lowest point, someone's been lower than you. You know what I'm saying? So if you have that mindset, then I feel like it's a lot easier to kind of get out of those ruts because, you know, of course, if you think everything that's happening to you is the worst thing in the world, then you're going to be so depressed. But if you can just think like, man, like, it sucks the situation I'm in, but I know someone else is out there struggling more than I am, and they're still happy, they're still smiling, so there's no reason why I can't. You know what I'm saying? And that's what we got to remember, you know, just every day, because not everyone has that choice. You know, not everyone has something to smile about, you know.
Right. Now, they are fighting for democracy.
Yeah.
With that being said, we have a democracy. How do you feel about democracy?
Well, I mean, I'm all for it, you know. If they want to be able to choose who rules them, you know, they should be able to vote, you know. I'm definitely not for dictatorships. I don't know when that's ever been, like, good. You know what I'm saying, throughout history, so I understand completely why they want to have a democracy and just be able to choose for themselves and not just kind of be told what to do and have to be forced to be okay with that, you know. Even though our democracy isn't perfect, literally no democracy is perfect, you know, so we're not going to find that, but it's having the choice is a lot better than being told who to support and what to support. If you can speak out against it, you know, and if you have to support them 100%, like, you know, so at least they want the choice to be able to kind of just take action for their own lives, you know. So I support it 100% what they want to do.
I do also. I do support democracy. Like you said, nothing is perfect. I think the two-party system needs to be done away with. It's really goofy. It's really out of date at this point in time because everyone's developed their own set of ideas and their own mind tracks, and we understand as people we have to believe in two different groups, and that be the only people that we answer to and stuff like that. So I do believe that, but you know, it's way better than having to do something and that just be it.
Yeah.
You know, being told to do this and that's the only thing you can do, and if you say anything back, you go to jail or you get killed or something like that. I obviously would highly prefer that, and it's like I said, it just really breaks my heart to really understand that people out there dying, and I am someone who likes to give. So whenever I see things like this, I like to try and make an attempt to donate, but then I see stuff like, you know, funds being misused properly and certain donation things are fake and stuff like that. So I'm very hesitant to give my money or do whatever it could be. It's like, what is this being used for? Whereas I look at my donation, my charitability would be something I can actually do with control of that I know is going to affect it, would be me talking about it here on air versus giving money. So with that being said, if you are going to donate to anything, not just Sudan or anything, be mindful of what you're donating to.
Yeah, a lot of charities are scams.
Yeah.
lots.
100%. Especially, everything's run through social media now. That's how we hear about a lot of the charities. Some of them aren't even charities. They're just people posting photos or whatever the case may be.
There's charities now in America that are huge that are scams too.
Oh,
it's crazy.
100%. 100%.
So crazy.
You gotta be aware of who you give your money to. Oftentimes when I donate, I'll donate to people that I know. Like if someone I know starts to GoFundMe, I'll throw a few dollars in there to kind of help them out, or I'll maybe sign a petition or something. But to give my money away to some huge company where I don't know what they're gonna do with it, and if you're that big, why do you need the money? Then it's just like, okay, there's a big question mark going on around there.
Well, I mean, like, I'm pretty sure, like, not-for-profit, like, they're not making money, it's not like a business where, like, they're making profits and stuff like that. So, yeah, I mean, they do need the donations, but again, it just depends. You just have to do your research on who you're donating to and kind of look into where the money's going, because, like I said, a lot of these bigger companies, like what, Susan G. Komen, the whole breast cancer thing, scam. It's big. I'm serious. Look into it. Like it's horrible.
What exactly happened?
I mean, there's just money that's being misused. It's not going to the right places. It's not going to research. You got people getting paid huge amounts of money, and it's like you get all this money, but none of that's going to help the masses that really do need it and stuff like that. And that's not the only example. There's plenty of other examples out there. But yeah, I mean, if you're going to donate, which is a great thing to do, you just got to make sure it's going to the right spot. And, it's the right people are getting it.
Yeah.
Because you don't want just the CEOs or whoever is running these huge charities just to be banking on all the money. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And they just tell you, like, oh, yeah, it's helping. And it really isn't. So just got to be mindful, do your research. Can't always take everything for fact when you see it on the screen.
Most definitely, guys. But most importantly, guys, pray for Sudan. If you're not religious, keep them in your thoughts, whichever. Just please send your heart, keep your hearts out for Sudan. That's super tragic going on there, guys. Guys, very big tragedy. All right, next thing, we're going to change topic. The NBA Finals. Thoughts?
I'm happy with the outcome. I definitely wanted Toronto to win. It sucks to see Klay Thompson go down like he did.
It don't even sound right to say Klay Thompson towards ACL. It doesn't even sound right.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't expecting it, but when I saw the replay, it looked pretty bad. It did not look natural at all. And obviously, no one ever wants to see Kevin Durant tear an Achilles like he did. Hopefully, he can come back strong next year. Same with Klay. I mean, I'm sure they're both out for the year. I wouldn't want either one of them to come back next year anyway. Like, just sit out. Like, you don't have to come back.
Right.
So, but yeah, I'm super happy with what happened. Kawhi, he was a dog throughout the whole series. I think the whole Toronto team stepped up. Kyle Lowry did what he needed to do, coming from 0 points in the first game of the playoffs, I think, to being a key factor. And this championship team is just awesome. It's awesome to see, well deserved. I'm hoping Kawhi comes back next year, or possibly for a couple more years, just to see if they can, possibly create like a dynasty. You never know. But I'd love to see that. You already got the chemistry there. You already got the experience with the team. You already got the relationships built there. So why go to another team and have to rebuild that? And possibly not get to where you got in one season. You know what I'm saying? Like, so it just kind of makes sense. But again, I don't know. I do know. I think his like lists of teams he was going to talk to was like the Raptors, Knicks, Clippers.
They say the Lakers, but I don't believe the Lakers. I don't believe
the Nets, the Lakers too. I think that's it. So he might go to the Nets. So yeah, I mean, if Kyrie goes there, then I can see maybe Kawhi would go there. I wouldn't personally want to play with Kyrie though.
No.
But
not even a little bit. And my beef is. I'm sorry. Were you done?
No, it wasn't.
My bad. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. Finish.
My bad. My issues with the Nets is that you're talking about getting Kyrie. Why are you giving up a piece that fits? D'Angelo Russell's an all-star. He's a great player. Yeah, Kyrie may be a better player, but you have somebody who fits, who already knows the organization. They're well within. He's grown with the organization. There's a loyalty factor. Why give up something that you know is already good for something that could be great, but you see there's drama everywhere that he goes?
Because it's a business at the end of the day. You gotta bring in the people that are gonna put butts in the seats. You gotta bring in the people that might win you the most games. You never know. This could be a great trade for them. You don't know that. Clearly, Kyrie is a better player over D'Angelo Russell. I mean, I like D'Angelo, so don't get me wrong. I'm not really trying to trash the man.
Right.
And I think he had a breakout season last year, and I'd love to see what he does with the Nets. But I mean, if it comes down to it, if you're gonna pick, if you have 2 point guards, you gotta pick from. You know what I'm saying? It just makes sense to pick Kyrie. I understand what you're thinking. Like, well, there's already been relationships, this and that, but loyalty isn't really much of a thing now in the NBA. It seems like, so you kind of gotta pick who he's gonna win you those games.
Mm-hmm. And in my opinion, the teams that aren't loyal or seem like the teams that don't win. The teams that are loyal to hang on to their players, the Spurs, we've seen over a long time. The Raptors hanging on to Kyle Lowry, even though they traded DeMar DeRozan. The teams that are loyal and stick to a core and build that core typically are teams that will win. Milwaukee's from the ground up.
Yeah.
Gold Six from the ground up, except for KD.
Yeah, look at Portland.
Ground up.
They haven't won anything yet. They got in the finals.
The Western Conference Finals.
They got in the Western Conference Finals, but that's it. But I'm just saying, you can build a team and go to at Miami. You know what I'm saying? LeBron didn't get drafted by Miami.
That's true.
Neither did Bosh, and then they go over there, and you see what they did over there. It was crazy. I think players might play a little harder, or might just kind of go a little harder, or feel strongly about a team if the loyalty's there. But at the end of the day, they're doing what they get paid to do. So you're gonna play. I'm assuming they're playing hard on any team they're going to. Just like Kawhi. Kawhi just got traded from the Spurs, and he could have been like, "Oh, man, I'm so pissed. I'm just gonna take. This year I'm not gonna go hard. I'm just gonna wait for next year to get that max." No, he went out and won a championship.
Right.
And he had zero connections to the Raptors. So loyalty, I don't think really plays a factor in winning teams, because there's been examples of many teams that have been just built. Or certain players get traded, and boom, that. Just the key part, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So, but I get what you're saying. There are a lot of teams that are built from the ground up and have that loyalty factor that do win a lot, and it's probably just because it's kind of ingrained in them,
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, you got to think about how long have these teams struggled before they were good. You know what I'm saying? So sometimes not every team wants to do that. Sometimes a lot of GMs or whatever want to win right away. So they got to find those people. You feel me? You think if that was the case, then LA wouldn't have traded. Had this AD trade, where they gave up the fourth pick.
I wouldn't have traded
Lonzo, Ingram, Josh Hart.
Yeah.
And
a few draft picks in the future.
4, 5, 6 featured first round draft. I was just like, oh my god.
I wouldn't have traded for him.
I wouldn't have either. I don't know.
New Orleans pimped him out, in my opinion.
It's Anthony Davis. even Kobe said that if you have the choice to get Anthony Davis, you get Anthony Davis. You get him. So it's Anthony Davis. You gonna say no to that? Again, that's probably that they're probably looking more just immediate winning over let's develop these players and hopefully develop they are who we think they are, and then become this and this and that. You know what I'm saying? Because would you rather take a guaranteed star player or 3 players where you're like, well, let's hope that they get to that level? At this point in time, I don't blame these teams for taking the bigger star right away to try to win championships, because that's what, at the end of the day, that's what it is. You want to win championships, and you can either do it right away and possibly get 2, 3, 4 of them, or you can try to build a team and hopefully no one gets traded and hopefully no one gets injured and hopefully everyone, reaches their full potential, and you know what I'm saying? It doesn't always happen like that. So yeah. I guess it just depends on what the team's like, whether they have that loyalty factor and want to build with these players, or they just want to win quick,
I am a big believer in building up what you already have. Because they literally gave up everything. And they say, AD's going to finish out his contract at the end of this year. But then he's saying he does plan to resign. But then say he has a bad season. Or say he gets hurt. Or say something happens or something happens upstairs, because there's a lot of turmoil in management in LA. And he decides, I'm out of here. You just gave up a whole future for one player who's injury prone at that. Not trying to knock AD. I think AD's one of the best players on the planet. But you getting someone who's injury prone. And you gave up Josh Hart, Brandon Ingram, Lonzo Ball, your draft pick this year, and 4 draft picks in the future that could have really turned your franchise around for the young core that you already had. For someone who could get injured, who may not play, and who may leave the next year. So, in my opinion, you look at the scales, I'm going to stay. I'm not going to take that trade. New Orleans got a lick, though. In my opinion, they pimped the Lakers out.
Oh, no, they definitely got who they wanted. But the thing about this, though, okay, so say the trade doesn't go down, and 80s isn't still in New Orleans for the time being. If I'm Lonzo, Ingram, or Hart, do I even want to be on this team anymore? If I just got 2 times throughout one season, they're like, yeah, we're willing to give you up for this guy. You know what I'm saying? And then you get, oh, never mind, we're just playing around. We know we love you. It's like, Clearly you don't. Like, do I even want to go crazy and try to win all these games when I could be literally traded at any point in the season? You know, like, so that's another thing too. Like, these players aren't. You know, a lot of times people look at these players as not being loyal, but the teams aren't loyal either. So it's like who has to? It kind of has to be a perfect relationship of loyalty, team and player wise. You know, because if one is loyal, then all of a sudden they get screwed over. It's like, well then. You know, what was that? That was a waste. Right. You know what I'm saying? So.
100%. All right, guys, we're going to take a quick Got Me by Dreezy, Ari Lennox, Ty Dolla $ign, and Omen. That's off the upcoming Revenge of the Dreamers 3 album, which I'm mad excited for. You know, I heard the Down Bad snippet. Everyone's heard that snippet. And I was like, yo, this song is nuts. It only gave us JID and Boss's verse. And at the time, I thought Boss had the best verse on Down Bad. And then I heard Johnny Venus's verse, and I'm like, wow, in my opinion, I thought he snapped.
Yeah, I mean, I think that was the best verse. I think that's pretty, I think everyone agrees on that. Yeah. That's all I've been seeing online at least. It was dope though. I mean, I wish the song was longer, to be honest. I wish everyone had 2 verses. The beat was just cold, everything about it was just great. It was a great song. Literally the whole song.
And Young Nudy snapped. His verse was longer. You could tell they cut it short, but he was going crazy.
I hope he's on more of Revenge of the Dreamers just because I like him so much. You know? I mean, I've talked about him before. I'm a big fan. But yeah, I love the way he started it off. You know, and then JID comes in, and it was crazy. It was so dope. I'm just excited for the whole album as a whole. Cause I know they're just gonna do some crazy stuff with it. And everyone wants to show out when they're working with J. Cole, so I'm sure he probably brings out the best in everybody. You know?
100%. And also, you know, I'm gonna mess this up. But iron sharpens iron, steel sharpens steel. That's definitely wrong. That's 100% wrong.
No, I think that might be right.
It might be right? Okay. Well, what I'm trying to say is when you're around other people who are competitive and doing the same thing, they make you want to be better.
Yeah.
And I think that is the situation that really happened down there at the sessions. You know, even when Cole was there, you got a lot of your peers who are still rapping, and guys, some stars went down there. And when I say stars, I don't mean you hear about them in the news type stars. A lot of the artists that were there haven't really popped yet, but at the same time, among us hip hop fans and real music lovers, we know that these dudes are dope.
Yeah.
A lot of people have heard of Smino. Smino's off the chain. He went down there. Vince Staples, Buddy, Guap Dad 4000 or 3000, Guap Dad 3000. Amazing. So I think that I'm really looking forward to this. I think a lot of artists are going to get a lot of shine that they deserve. One person I'm excited for is Deontay Hitchcock.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love him as a rapper. As a rapper, he snaps.
Yeah, he's super cold as a rapper, man.
Super duper cold. So I'm excited to see what exactly is going to come of these sessions. What's going to happen to the music. I wonder how long the project is going to be. That's my thing, because there's I think they said over a couple hundred songs they made, or at least 100.
Well, I mean, at least I hope it's a good amount, not just like 10 songs. Like, okay, that's lame. But yeah, I'm sure it's going to be a good amount. I mean, they know what the people want, so I'm just kind of waiting on it at this point.
Yeah, and you know, E, who's the head of Dreamville, J. Cole's manager, he brought up a point saying how Down Bad was too short, but he made a tweet today saying that if you ever have a song and someone says it's too short, that means that it's the right length.
Yeah,
that's perfect.
So that's what I hear. I don't know. I would love to I don't know, because if Beach is Better by Jay-Z was longer, like, it's not even a minute long. Like, I definitely would be cool with a 2-minute song at least, you know, so I don't know.
100%. What'd you think of Got Me?
That was a good song too. It was smooth, you know. I mean, it was what I expected with the people that were on there. You know, I think everyone kind of carried their own weight and kind of came together to make a really, really nice song. I'm interested to see what other kind of songs they have like that on the album. Yeah, because obviously it's not gonna be all hip hop. So I kind of want to see what avenues they go down. I wonder if there's gonna be a little bit of experimentation on there as well. You know, I'd love to see that. Just try to test themselves. You know?
100%. That was the first real Dreezy verse I've ever really paid attention to. She snapped.
Yeah.
That was hard. Like, to me, that was on me between her and Ty Dolla $ign. That's probably my 2 favorite parts of the song. I've always loved Ty Dolla $ign. He's a hook king, in my opinion. Him, Jeremiah, those 2 dudes are like the king of hooks right now in the game. And for the way she came on the verse, so very descriptive and just really interpersonal. I like that verse a lot. You know, I really did. The production was super clean. That's one thing I'm excited for this too. It's the production of this album. Yeah,
I mean, I think with this album, everything's gonna be like top notch. Production, mixing, everything, album art. song description.
Definitely. So we've had a few other songs come out, a few other projects come out. You sent me Skepta's album. What do you think of it?
I like Skepta's album, man. Like I enjoy it a lot. I've been playing it since it came out. I mean, I think the beats are dope. I like how he's like, there's a good mix of like introspection and just him talking about like him and his life, and actually talking about like real stuff, and then there's also like just flexing, just talking, just having fun with it. And it's a really, really, really good mix of both of them. And you don't get tired of it at all. It doesn't get repetitive. I mean, I think it's cold. I think it's cold. I've definitely been trying to get into a lot more UK artists in general. I know Octavian.
Or Dave.
I told you.
You told me about Dave.
Did you look up that album?
Oh, Psychodrome? I listened to it when you sent it to me. You sent it to me months ago. I've been listening to that. That was hard.
It's cold.
That album was tough. What's one of the best projects to come out this year?
He's a really good rapper.
Yes.
Just in general.
Yes. Painting pictures, talk about what he wants to talk about.
Thing. The whole album, like if you listen to it from top to bottom, it's like.
And we're referring to Psychodrome, guys.
Yeah, and he's got like, I don't know if these are real therapy sessions with him or if these are fake. They might be real. I mean, I don't know if you have the ability to choose if you want your own sessions out there. I have no idea.
I would imagine so.
I imagine so, but I have no idea. Either way, like it kind of like tells you a story as you're going through the whole I mean, it's just crazy to me. But yeah, that was a dope album. Octavian just dropped an album as well. I didn't, you know who Octavian is?
Sounds very familiar.
Yeah, he dropped one called Endorphins. I like that one too. I definitely gotta listen to it again. There was a song called Bet with him, Skepta, and Michael Phantom, I believe it is. That I downloaded a couple months ago that I really enjoy. So, but yeah, I honestly think UK rap is low-key on the come up. That's in terms of coming over here.
Okay.
Because I know hip hop, American hip hop's everywhere. You know, everyone listens to that. But there's plenty of other hip hop from other countries that goes nuts, and the only thing that sucks is like, because I can't understand a lot of the other languages. It's like, okay, like I can listen to it and the beat may be dope and the flow sounds cool, but I don't know what they're saying, so I can only connect so much. But at least with the UK, like you can understand what they're saying, and they have a lot of the same, just like topics that they rap about in their songs are very similar to what's going on over in America. So it's kind of like you can relate in a sense.
Yeah.
Obviously I can't relate 100% because I'm not from there, but just kind of the subject matter that they bring up in their songs is very, very similar. So it's kind of cool just to see kind of like another perspective in the hip hop world and just see what kind of sounds they come with, because they have their flows are definitely not the same from American flows. Like the beat choices aren't the same, so it's just kind of cool to see how they put their own flavor on it. Because it sounds good. Like U.S. hip hop is not the only hip hop that sounds good.
All right.
Like there's plenty of music out there from all over the world that sounds so dope.
100%. And when I first heard the Skepta project, which I like actually, it was decent. When I first heard it, I had to replay a few songs just because it was kind of hard to understand him at times. Yeah. Because I'm getting used to that UK accent. Yeah. That was the only thing. And when I listened to Dave, really honestly, and this is crazy to me because that was really the first, to my knowledge, I'm sure I've heard albums from artists that aren't originated in the US or have come up musically in the US. But to hear that, and I heard it straight through, and I can understand every word he was saying. Yeah. And I get it, and I'm not trying to say, that if you're an artist, you make your accent less wherever you're from, that it's going to sound better. I'm not saying that, but for me to be able to understand what he was saying, like, through the first time, when I first listened on the album that's so deep, that's a big talent. But the Skepta album I had to replay a few times. I try to listen to albums twice through anyway, just as good practice, in case I may miss anything, or my feelings may change, or my opinion, but that Skepta album is nice.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about with saying how Dave was a little bit more easy to understand, which I think he was too. But at the same time, they have accents just like we have accents over here. So like it may be hard for us to understand someone from the South, just because of the way they say the words. Like even over there, like just different areas have thicker accents or more proper accents or whatever the case is. So it may be easier to understand certain people just because of where they come from, But yeah, I get what you're saying. For a while, it was kind of like, man, like it's kind of hard to understand what these people are saying. Like I don't really want to listen to this, but now that you kind of just get used to how they're saying the words and stuff like that, and it's funny because even over American rappers, like you can't even understand what they're saying all the time.
That's
true. What I'm saying? So like, it happens just as much over here as it does over there. And to them, they're just talking. It's just their accent that's hard. For us, it's like they're just slurring their words and they're mumbling over here. So. But yeah, I mean, I think UK rap is on the come up over here. It's already obviously big over there, and they got their artists that are huge over there. So I'm just kind of, I'm definitely trying to take a deeper dive just to see, what they have to offer, and kind of listen to the classics they have and stuff like that. The different subgenres they got in hip hop over there and everything.
Yep. What did you think of Goldlink's album, Dysphoria? I thought
I liked it.
It was amazing.
Yeah, it was really good. It was really good.
That album is so fire. Just one, nobody sounds like Goldlink. Unless you can't think of anybody that does, and I'm wrong. I haven't heard anybody that sounds like Goldlink. I think it sounds unique, but listen to At What Cost. His last album came out a few years ago. Listen to this. The sounds are different, and he experiments with different things. Zulu Screams, which I played for us a little bit, is absolutely just nuts. Like the screaming in the background, the way the beat comes in, the way he adjusts his flow. His flow is so slick. And even content he's talking about on the first song, Air, and even on a song like Swoosh, he's talking about things, how he came up, the mistakes that he made, what he wants to do for the youth. This album was overall dope.
Yeah, I liked it a lot. I can't really say much more than what you already said. It was a great album. I know Goldlink was, I've heard of him a couple of years ago, and I just kind of was always just listening to some of the stuff he dropped to see what he would come out with, and I think this is probably his best project, person for me, that I've heard so far. Super clean, super well put together. Like you said, the experimentation was there. The way he was trying new stuff. The flow. It was there. It was just a really super, super, super solid hip hop album, and I'm interested to see what else it comes out with. Maybe later this year or next year, for sure.
Most definitely. A lot of artists do take the time, a lot of time, and they take time with things, and they come back and they make it 1,000 times better. From this time, from when At What Cost came out in 2017, we're 2 years later. Now we got this album. So if it keeps this pattern up, I like it when artists take their time when they put out music.
Yeah.
Because it's like fine wine. It's like baking cookies, or better get macaroni and cheese. Because if you ever made macaroni and cheese, real mac and cheese, you have to bake it for hours. Same thing with lasagna. And I was listening to an interview with No ID actually yesterday, a few of them, and he made a good comparison for music, and it's between stop signs and Picassos. Stop signs are everywhere. On everywhere part of the world, you always have stop signs. You can always make a stop sign, but can you paint a Picasso? Meaning that with albums. And what he was referring to directly was that he's in the business of making Picassos, not stop signs. Stop signs are what are considered hits, stuff that may be good for the time, but it's always going to be there. It's not going to stand out much. But Picassos are ones that are going to live forever.
Yeah, you're just looking over classic pieces of work to just things that are made when it's hot, like if you're following a wave or if you're creating a wave in a sense, but I agree 100%. I definitely prefer when artists take their time to make an album and put their all into it. And I'd much rather hear an album every 2 years than an album every single year.
Yeah.
Or 2 a year, or or if they're just flooding this airwaves with music. I'm like, all right, like bro, like.
That's how I felt about Drake for a while.
Let me forget about you. You know what I'm saying? So I can get excited again. Because now, like, when it comes to Drake, he's cool, and I know he's got his fans out there, and I'm a fan of him too. So I'm not gonna sit here and say like I don't listen to him, but I do. But I don't get as excited as I would for a Drake album because there's like every single year, and even if it isn't every single year, I've been hearing him on features and songs and singles. And I guess if you're working, you want to make money. I get it. I'm not tripping over that, but like as a fan, like I just like kind of be like sitting with an album for a year, 2 years, and I could listen to that, and that may even get better with time. And then I'm like, oh, you're dropping another one? Like it's been so long, like I can't wait. And especially if you've taken that long to make it, I know you've been putting in good work, trying different things out, putting things in, taking things out, just kind of see what works, so you can make a really, really great piece of work. And I just appreciate when artists take the time.
Yeah.
Because I think that's another difference between like an artist and like just like a rapper. Like an artist actually wants to make a piece of art. Rappers just kind of like spinning it out.
Yeah.
Hella mixtapes or however, whatever. So yeah, I'm all same thing like you were saying. I appreciate hard work. Yeah. Basically, at the end of the day.
Art lives forever. Things that. A lot of times when I talk to people who were more music listeners when we were kids in like the early 2000s, who were like what we are now, the heavy music listeners, when they talk about albums or projects that came out way back then, they don't talk about Hot in Here, and they don't talk about Yeah by Usher or any popular song. They talk about the Blueprint. They talk about Confessions 1, 2, and 3. They talk about whole bodies of work that took time, to really good works of art. Yeah. Instead of just going out there and quick grabbing things. Like I said, the Picasso. Paint One thing I did learn about paint, I learned this from listening to Jay-Z actual story OJ. He said he bought a piece of art for $1 million, and then later it came back it was worth $2 million.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah, you gotta buy things, you know, that increase in value. So like, if you're gonna sell it, you can make more money off of it. You know, that's just being smart with the purchases that you make. Now, obviously, it's easy to do that when you got millions or billions at this point for him, you know, to spend on stuff like that. But it's a good life lesson, you know, just to not buy things just because you think it's cool when you try to sell it to make you lose money. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
That's like buying a brand new car. Like, I never understand why people, unless you got the money for just having a brand new car, like, why go out and get money on a brand new car when you could just buy a car that's a couple years older, you know, so it still has the same features for so much cheaper, you know? Like, it just doesn't make sense. Like, you just gotta be smart with your purchases, and that's what Jay-Z was talking about, with, you know, with like all that. But yeah, I agree 100%. Not that those songs that you named, like Hot in Here and Yeah, aren't classics, because those aren't classics. Don't get me wrong. Like, if it gets put on, I'm gonna be lit, you know. But 100%, like when you talk about like great albums from, excuse me, from whatever decade, you know, you're not talking about just the hit singles. You're talking about like great pieces of work, you know, that people took the time to, and that possibly might have molded the landscape for future artists, you know. So that's why I'm such a big Kanye fan. You know what I'm saying? Because like, I don't know, you can tell like every album it's a completely different sound.
Yeah.
Like, there's something else he's going for. Like, he definitely puts a lot of work into all the stuff he does. So that's why I just appreciate him as an artist. You know what I'm saying? I don't always agree with everything he does, but I can appreciate the work that he puts into his art. You know.
Yeah, Kanye West will always forever be one of the greatest hip hop artists ever.
I think one of the greatest artists
across all genres. You know, I haven't listened to enough music of other genres to really make a formed opinion on that. But if we just look at it,
or if you look at it from influence-wise, because I guess that's.
Oh, influence-wise, for sure, 100%.
You may not like Kanye, so you're obviously not gonna say that, but I feel like it's hard to sit here and say he hasn't been influential. You know.
Oh, okay.
He has been influential.
Yeah, influential.
It's obvious.
He's inspired all of our big names now for hip hop: Drake, Cole, Kendrick, everybody. He's inspired them. He's also inspired people in other genres too. I know that for a fact. He's also given us Kid Cudi. So in terms of different things that he may provide and what he's done for us, I think Kanye's going to go down as one of the greatest hip hop artists of all time. And like I said, from an influence standpoint, most definitely one of the most influential artists of all time. And he gave us, in my opinion, a top 5 hip hop album of all time, My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy.
Yeah.
1000%. Like, if you guys haven't heard that.
I mean, you could argue a couple albums he's dropped as a top hip hop album of all time. You know, so I mean, that's just how good he is. But I think My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy is definitely, for me, up there, like one of my favorite ones.
Most definitely. Now, we just touched on a good point, talking about investing. I think the best time for people to invest, like me and you, is now when we're young and we don't have any kids or a wife or whatever the case may be. I think that investing is a risk, but it's necessary. And as you look at the cost of living going up, Social Security is plummeting, starting a 401k can be an iffy thing. Investing your money and having it make itself now could really be something that's great. And I think that should be done a lot more amongst those young people now. Or we're able to eat a financial loss, or whatever the case may be. I think the key is now, the hardest part is finding something to invest in. What you want to put your money into, how long is it going to take, things like that. And I think most importantly, the thing that matters the most is just proper education on the topic.
Yeah, 100%. I think everyone should invest. Doesn't matter how old you are. You know, you're never too old to invest. You know, but yeah, if you are younger now, and you know, obviously I'm not saying like if you're 10 years old, but like if you have money or have a job or something like that, you can throw a couple bucks here. It only takes a couple dollars. You don't need $1,000 to start investing. You need a couple dollars. You can start investing.
Yeah.
And even if you don't know everything 100%, obviously take the time to learn. You know, there's plenty of books out there that have, you know, many people have read and that has helped them tremendously. And they're probably not the most exciting books in the world, you know, but sometimes you just gotta sit down and read for the betterment of you. But I'm sure there's YouTube videos, there's apps now that you could download that help you. I think Robinhood is like one of them, where it's like it takes like extra change that you have for purchases and invests it in certain areas, and there's different things you can get to where your money goes to like multiple different like companies. You know what I'm saying? So it's nice and spread out instead of just focusing on one. and you're like, well, I don't know what I'm supposed to do. Should I buy? Should I sell? Like some people can take care of that. Either way, though, you should definitely invest your money. That's just a smart thing. You want to be able to make your money work for you, not you working for the money. You know, like the earlier you can do that, the better. You know, because then you'll just be able to sit back and you can go to sleep when your money is still making money for you. You know what I'm saying?
The best way to live, in my opinion, is to have a job where you don't have to have a boss.
Yeah.
You know,
be your own boss.
Just be your own boss. Make your own money. Start your own online business. You know, start investing in stocks. You know, Jay-Z's a billionaire. One thing we have to look at with all of our most richest, successful people is understand that they have multiple forms of income. Jay-Z's not a billionaire just off music.
No.
Jay-Z has a sports management company. He's a part of was it Ciroc? No, that's Diddy. He's a part of a wine company. He
has a lot.
He's managed other artists. He still has his label Rock Nation. He does so many other things. On top of that, touring. It probably costs a good meal for a Jay-Z show right now, or probably more than that. To be honest with you.
Pay him?
Yeah, for a Jay-Z show, it's at least a meal.
I don't know.
So
I don't know how much it would be.
So it'd be crazy. So you have to look at all those things, and you look at that, and you have to understand that money just doesn't come from one place. You know, a lot of our successful people have money coming in from multiple avenues.
Look at all the successful people, or even if the books you read. I'm sorry if I cut you off.
It's all good.
The books you read, or if you go on YouTube and just watch videos of people who either claim they're successful or who are successful, all of them tell you have to have multiple streams of income. You can't just bank on your 9-to-5 job and then become a millionaire off that. That's just not the case. You gotta invest. You gotta, whether that's in real estate, stocks, something. You gotta have multiple streams of income. If you have a side job, that you like knitting sweaters. Knit some sweaters when you get home. You can sell those. Make some extra cash and like that. No matter if you want to be successful or at least gain wealth in life, you have to have multiple streams of income. And I'm over here talking like I got it, because I really don't. But these are just things that I've been reading, because I've been definitely been trying to kind of just learn more information on just financial literacy, and what to do with your money and how to make the most money as quick as possible. And nothing's a quick journey to making money. It's always going to be, some people do pop off in a year. You feel me? That's
really
awesome.
Rare.
That's super rare, and that's awesome if that's the case,
Right.
But that's just not how it happens. But when I'm talking about just quickly, I'm talking about quickly for me, like in my youth. I don't want to be 80 and then hit $1 million. I'm like, oh, that's dope. I want to be 30 and hit $1 million. You know what I'm saying? So, but the quicker you can start working towards that, the quicker you get it. You know, but you gotta do that. You can't wait until it's too late. You got to do it when you have, like you said, when you have the time. You're able to eat a loss. You're able to make that money back. You don't have families to worry about, kids to worry about. Like, do it now. Don't wait until you're struggling and you're like, I should probably start investing. It's like, you should have invested 10 years ago.
Yeah. Interesting that I decided to throw on the agenda today. You know who Zach Fox is?
I've heard of Zach Fox.
He's a comedian. I personally have never seen any of his stand-up, but I do follow him on Twitter, and he's hilarious. He made a pretty extreme joke, which is what comedians are supposed to do before we even go any further, about something regarding politics, which he normally always does. Now, his thing was a lot of people were asking him to get taken off the internet, banned from it. Twitter wanted him to get rid of him, but my thing is he's a comedian. This is what he does. He cracks jokes about things. He makes fun of things. It's what he does. So my question is that why in this time now do we crucify comedians the way we do? Why we're not letting them do their job. Years ago, Bernie Mac, Chris Rock, say whatever they want. And to an extent, some comedians still do, but why is it now that we harp down on them so much for doing the job that they always done? Or they're supposed to do, at least.
I feel as though it might just be because of how, a lot of people may get upset over certain things that are being said and feel as though certain things shouldn't be made fun of anymore, and you gotta be politically correct. I personally don't care what comedians say.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, on the interview that we had, what was it, like a couple weeks ago, May 29th, whatever, I don't know how long ago it was.
Okay.
The interview we're talking about though, where we got interviewed?
Oh yeah, we can.
Yeah.
My bad. I was like, what are you talking about? I was like, on this show, what are you talking about?
No,
yeah, shout out to Tiff on
shouts out. But I was just saying how, you know, she asked a question like, what do you laugh at? And I said everything, which is, you know, such a generic answer. But I meant it, you know, because there's always comedy in something. You know what I'm saying? Like, even if like you do something embarrassing and people are laughing at you, if you just think about what happened to you and you're like, oh man, that was actually kind of funny, then you probably would start laughing too at yourself. You know what I'm saying? Because it's a funny situation that you're in. And you know, there's funny situations and everything. Even in the most tragic of just occurrences. You know, no one wants to joke about 9/11, but I've heard some pretty funny jokes about 9/11.
Pete Davidson makes it.
You know, so it's like there's, you know, and laughter. You know, they always say laughter is like the best medicine and stuff like that. I think that could possibly be true. You know, like being happy helps with a lot. You know, it's not just a mood. It helps with a lot of different things. You know, just being in a happier mind state. So yeah, I'm all for comedians making jokes about anything. I really don't care. And you know, if you can laugh at a joke about something else or somebody else, but you can't laugh at a joke about you or, you know, people like you, then like that's your problem. You know what I'm saying? That's not their problem. If you're laughing at everything else they're doing, but the minute it's about you or something that you do, something that you like, and then you get offended by it, and then you want to take them down or cancel them, it's like, are you serious? Like, don't be so sensitive. You know what I'm saying? So, and I don't know what he said though, so it may have been like outrageous. But do you know what he said?
I can't remember exactly. I'm not gonna misquote it, but it was a very, very, very funny meme. It was something. I've been.
Is it still on Twitter?
It might be. Something with him driving a car. But what he said was so funny. So he made that tweet, and then a response came, and this guy was a war veteran, and he was threatening Zach. He's like, you know what? I'm gonna get you, yada yada yada. You just pissed off a U.S. veteran.
Is this his Twitter?
Yes, that's him. He's like, I'm gonna get you. Just pissed off a U.S. veteran. I'm gonna get you. Blah 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 blah. I think it's under media because there was a photo behind it. To make your search easier.
It was a photo, or
yeah, it was like a photo. It was a photo, so it might be under media. You know, he made the tweet. A U.S. veteran's like, I'm gonna come get you. You just watch your back. You just pissed off a vet. Blah 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 blah. So Zach puts up a photo and he says the best way to take out a veteran, and the photo was a bubble wrap. Popping the bubble wrap.
I'm looking at it right
now. You got the one with the car and the kid? Is that the one I'm thinking of?
No, I'm looking at the one with the bubble wrap.
Oh my gosh, that had me dying on the ground. That was so funny.
That is funny.
That is hilarious. But there's another tweet he made previous to that. Something about driving a car and hitting a kid with a lemonade stand or something wild like that. He said something off the chain, but it was hilarious.
The 5-year-old cancer survivor is selling lemonade to help other kids fight cancer, and this picture. That's funny though. I mean,
wait, is that the one he's passing him money?
Yeah.
Nah, he did something where he was driving a car and like was gonna run it over, something crazy like that.
I don't know, B. I think it's
all jokes.
That was funny
hilarious.
though. I mean that bubble wrap one is pretty funny.
That's hilarious.
That is funny. I don't know. I mean, gosh. I just think it's funny. You know?
It is.
I just don't see how you cannot laugh at stuff like that. And, you know, everyone has their own sense of humor, so obviously I'm not sitting here saying you should find everything funny. Because you shouldn't. Not everybody should, but, you know, you should also understand that what's being said are jokes.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like, none of this stuff is serious. Like, a comedian's, their job is to tell jokes.
Yeah.
You know, like, they probably don't think half the stuff that they're saying is like, I actually feel that way. This is how I feel. You know, because they don't. You know, they're just trying to be funny and get laughs. So, I mean, if you really can't handle it, instead of canceling them because you're upset and you're offended, just don't watch them.
Yeah.
You know, don't go. You know, don't subscribe to them. Don't follow them. You don't like if you're putting yourself in a situation to where you know you're gonna get upset and then you get upset. Don't be surprised when you're upset.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
You can't get mad when you knew that was gonna happen. You were almost just like waiting for it to happen. Like, just if you don't like it, then don't do it. You know, it's that simple.
Right.
You know, it's that simple.
That's simple.
Mm-hmm.
It's just sad now how some people have to be so politically correct for a lot of things, which is why I really enjoy podcasts, because on podcasts you can say whatever you want on podcasts.
Say whatever you want, yeah.
You can cuss, you can swear. You know, we should bring the podcast back.
Yeah, I mean, I'd do it.
I mean, it was your podcast.
We could do it.
Yeah, we definitely should.
Talk about whatever.
Definitely. This is good to get some stuff on our chest. It's like a release type thing. But anyway, back to the topic. I think that this day and age, everyone's so sensitive now because there's much more information. Everyone feels like they have to be correct about everything. When in reality, they don't. And another good example of people trying to cancel things, the Boondocks is coming back. But when the Boondocks is out, that was one of the most controversial shows out. It was hilarious. It was a great show.
Yeah.
It was funny, but it had layers to it. It taught us lessons about a lot of things. It had episodes referring to gay people, and it had episodes referring to R. Kelly and all that. It was hilarious.
Yeah, it was really funny.
It was funny.
I mean, that's a classic cartoon.
Classic.
Do you know who's like? I don't know. I think I cut you off again, but
it's all good.
But do you know who is going to be involved in this one?
Aaron Magruder's back.
Okay, then it might be good. We'll see what happens. Yeah, but I could easily see people getting upset over what's being said. But then then they should be getting upset over like South Park too, because South Park says some pretty crazy stuff.
Yeah, it's been on air for
Family Guy or all those shows. That make fun of what's going on. So if those aren't canceled, I'm sure Boondocks isn't going to get canceled anytime soon. But yeah, I can see people complaining about it. But I don't know. I don't know what kind of world that would be if everything was politically correct and nothing was said that would be thought of as like mean or hurtful to somebody else. Not that I'm all for saying mean stuff, but like how boring of a world would that be?
Yeah.
Like so boring. I would not want to live in that at all.
Everyone would be politically correct. It'd be super gray. Nobody would be funny.
You wouldn't be able to do anything because someone would be offended by it.
Nobody would have their unique personality.
Exactly.
No one allowed to be them. We probably wouldn't be here because...
We wouldn't be here.
I mean, we cleaned it up on air, but we said some pretty wild stuff. I'll be honest with you guys. So it's just... There would be no individuality. Mm-hmm. And I think that's the thing. When you're politically correct, you expect everything to be perfect and not offend anybody, you're not yourself, in my opinion. Unless you're just that nice and that easygoing person. And I can tell you right now, you're trying to fit a mold that you're not going to fill. And I can say that from experience. You're trying to fit in where you don't want to fit in. If you're trying to be politically correct and not offend anybody, you're not being you. And that sucks. You're like in a cage. You got to be yourself and step out a little bit. You're going to offend people. You're not supposed to get along with everybody.
That's true. Now, I would just don't go out here and start saying
don't be a jerk, right?
For no reason. But,
right. Devonn told me to go be racist.
Yeah, I'm racist. Right? Don't
no. All right, ain't might say all that.
I get 100% what you're saying. Like, if you're stopping yourself from saying things or enjoying things, or laughing at something or whatever, or wanting to listen to something because you're like, well, the masses aren't gonna like this. Like, who cares? Like, bro, listen to whatever you want to listen to. Like, laugh at whatever you want to laugh at. Like, even if nobody else is laughing, but you think it's funny, then hey, you think it's funny. You can't help it. You know what I'm saying? Like, so just be yourself. Laugh at what you want to laugh at. Just enjoy what you want to enjoy. Like, don't let other influences out just around you, whether that's social media or people you see on TV or whatever the case is. Like, don't let someone dictate what you enjoy. Like, if you enjoy something, enjoy it. No matter how weird it is, no matter how obscure it is, how small of a niche it is. Like, just do you. Have fun. Like.
Yeah, and
that's your life.
Sorry.
No, you're good.
Like
you're good.
Fourth time today, my fault.
You're good.
I think another thing is, and what's something I'm dealing with now, is that if your personality or how you are doesn't fit in a certain situation that you're in, a job, a relationship, a group of friends that you're around, remove yourself from that situation.
Yeah.
Because odds are you're gonna say you're at a job, you work for a corporate office, but say you're someone like Zach Fox, you make jokes about everything. You may not fit in, depending on that environment. Like. Zach Fox makes jokes about religion and everything. I can't speak for the man, but maybe you go to church and you say stuff like that, your man might be looking at you kind of crazy. Not saying he doesn't belong in church, not assuming any of that, but just as an example, if you don't only go where you fit in, but as long as you're being yourself.
Yeah, and also, I mean, there's a time and a place for everything.
That's true.
So obviously, don't go to a funeral and start making dead jokes, about the guy. Like that's bogus, But like if you're in the right setting, like if you're at a comedy show, whatever, it doesn't matter what you're saying as long as it's funny. It's a comedy show or music or movies or TV. Like especially when it comes to artistic expression, like it comes down to the individual. You know what I'm saying? So like it's the individual who thinks this is funny, who thought that was cool, who thought this sounded dope. So it's not supposed to be for everybody. Mm-hmm. Nothing is supposed to be for everybody. You know what I'm saying? Like I can't imagine how lame something would be if it was meant for everybody. You know what I'm saying?
Look at water.
That's what I was just about to say. Look at water. Like there's no. First of all, water is a great beverage.
Drink water.
And you should drink water.
But I mean, would you talk to water? No.
I would talk to water, man.
Would you really?
Yeah. Water makes me. Water helps me after a night of drinking. Water helps me when I'm thirsty. Water helps me. Get clean.
It's good for you. It helps you get clean, but like
water is like my best friend.
But what do I have to say to you, water? What do I have to say to water?
Thank you for life.
And then what?
I don't know.
Exactly.
Have a conversation. I get what you're saying though. Like water is kind of tasteless. That's not true though.
It's not true
because
There's
water
no
tastes different. Different bottles of water taste different.
Because the Dasani water is garbage.
Yeah. The temperature of water makes it taste different. So water has personalities.
I guess. I don't know if I would kick it with water though.
I'd kick it with water. Would you kick it with ice? Because ice is cooler than water.
I don't know. That's a good point. That's a good question. I don't know if I would.
I'd kick it with ice.
Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
What would you not talk about?
Just how cool everything is. How cool we are. How he gets so cool.
Right. Are you ever gonna melt?
Right.
I feel you 100%. But all in all, guys, more of the story is be yourself. Don't be afraid to be funny. Say what you want to say as long as it fits the situation. Don't offend anybody. It just
or offend people.
Oh yeah, it's really up to you.
Offend who you want to offend.
Yeah.
Or don't offend who you don't want to offend. But
Mm-hmm.
don't let people cancel you because you think something's funny. Like that's just so stupid.
Yeah.
So stupid.
Yeah, it is. All right, moving on. Next thing we wanted to talk on for a little bit. My boy brought this up, and this will be a quick point before we go into our next break. Getting out of high school to realize that life is just like high school. At first, I didn't really get it because someone said that to me a while ago, and I didn't really understand it. But now that I'm at the point where I'm at in life, I really understand it. In high school, people were gossiping, people were making up things about each other, people were getting mad over dumb stuff. And now that we're in adulthood, it's literally the same exact thing.
Mm-hmm.
Literally. And it's pretty energy draining. I mean, in high school, you're like, oh, what such and such say? Because you're always in it. And when you're an adult, you just kind of get tired of it. You get burned out. You realize how dumb it is. Especially if you see your people who are in like their 50s and 60s. It's just like, why are you acting like my nephew, bro? Like, grow up.
Yeah, no, 100% I know what you're talking about. Especially when this comes to workplaces, if you work with a group of people every day or, or you see them once or twice a week, people gossip about everything, people will get jealous of other people, start spreading rumors. But yeah, you're right. It's pretty much like high school, just you're older, so, but it kind of sucks. But it doesn't really suck. I don't know. I feel like it's like high school, but it's not really like high school.
What do you mean?
Sense. Like it's like high school in a sense, so I guess where people do gossip and stuff like that, and people make rumors, but at least you can leave. You can separate yourself from that. You don't gotta go back every day if you really didn't want to. You know what I'm saying? Like there's a lot of other things you could do. Maybe we'll feel like college somewhere else.
Yeah.
But I don't know. But yeah, I can see where you would say it feels like high school.
Well, a lot of people aren't going to fight in real life either. That's another thing. High school people are quick to fight. True. You're not going to fight as an adult because you'll go to jail.
That is true.
You don't get suspended. You end up in handcuffs and go to jail and get fines and press charges. So I think also as an adult, decision making is obviously different from when you were, between the ages of 14 and 18. Hopefully it is.
Yeah. Let's hope.
But I just think that a lot of things in life and history does repeat itself for a certain amount of things. Some people either say the same or they change. But I think that, and see, it's another thing. When people say, you've changed and you this or that, one, you're supposed to change.
Yeah.
For the better.
Yeah.
And also on top of that, I think that, the core values that make the person that should stay the same. I look at it like a tree. A tree could grow and the branches can grow however they want to grow. They could be an apple tree, grow apples, oranges, whatever. But the root and that base of it is always going to stay the same. It's always going to be what it is. So I think as a person, when you grow and people tell you that you've changed and everything, depending on how you are in life, look at that as a compliment. Look at that as with a positive mindset to say, all right, well, I can make myself better from this, I can make myself worse from this, depending on the feedback that you get. So I think that life really is a full circle journey, especially now that we're older and we're seeing things we're understanding it more. That's something that really stuck out to me when my friend said that to me.
Yeah, I mean, growth is inevitable. You should always be looking to grow in the right direction, whatever direction it is for you. But yeah, a lot of times you will hear, like you're saying, people say, like, you changed, you're not the same anymore, like, you're acting different, this and that. It's like, well, from depending on the last time you saw me, like, I hope I'm not acting the same way. Like, if the last time you saw me when I was 19 years old, like, I hope I grew since then. Like, I don't want to be the same person anymore. And a lot of times people also try to use those phrases as a way to kind of make you feel bad for not being in their situation, or like, oh, like I see you're like bettering yourself, like, bro, like you're tripping, you know what I'm saying? Like, why don't you just kick it with me? like the old days. It's like, but it isn't the old days anymore. You know, like there's other things I'm trying to do in my life. Mm-hmm. You feel me? So yeah. Sometimes you can look at it as an insult, like you've changed, and depending on how you've changed, possibly that might be an insult.
Right, because if you gain 80 pounds since high school, that's different.
Yeah, it's like you're tripping.
Right.
You're on a diet or something, but yeah, like if you just change like mentally, you know, or professionally or whatever the case is, and you feel like you're bettering yourself, then take that as a compliment, man. You know, like thank you. Yeah, I have changed. I appreciate you noticing. You know, because you should always be striving. You shouldn't be the same. Like when you're 50, you shouldn't be the same person when you're 21.
Right.
You feel me? Like there's so many things that you go through. There's so many life experiences that you get to see. That you should be a better person, more wiser. You know, smarter, just level-headed. You know, there's so much. You should just be such a better person. By the time you're like 80, 90, 100 years old, you got pretty much be a saint. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It'd be amazing.
1,000% so.
Pierce.
All right, next thing I want to get into, and this is something we see all too often, and this kind of moves towards a negative scale of things, but, you know, every week on social media, I see a video of a black man or somebody of color being quote-unquote harassed by the police. And one thing I really do want to make a point of saying is that I understand that it happens, but I don't like how some people will just see the video, take that snippet of information and just run with it. You know, I remember seeing a video. There was a guy. Now, this gentleman, I guess he robbed a gas station, and he was all the officers had him sitting there, gun down. Like they had him. The guns trained on him. He was sitting there, hands up like this. Now, to train your gun on somebody who doesn't have a gun, and there was like 8 people, like literally 8 cops all trained on him. I'm like, wow, all right, that's kind of excessive, but. You know, everyone's saying, "Oh man, you got to do this to an innocent man. He didn't do anything." Yada 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 yada. But yet it came out because I did the follow up that he actually did rob that gas station, and he was guilty of the crime. And I understand that, you know, in this day and age where media is the highest it's ever been, and we always talk about things and we take things out of context. I don't like how we start these huge, massive arguments and we have important conversations about things that aren't all that factual. You know.
Oh yeah.
We know a lot of times facts aren't brought to the situation. and what can we do about a situation where we only see a 2-minute clip of it? Who's to say that guy had a gun on him and threw it away, and then that person started recording and then saw it? Would the cops be justified in doing that? And then with so many hands being in a pot of the conversation, it's like playing a telephone game. You're never going to get the truth of what actually happened. And that bothers me. Again, I'm not trying to say that it doesn't happen, because it does happen, but you know, I really hate that in this time now, where the crucial conversations need to be had because everyone's talking but no one's saying anything important. Crucial conversations need to be had, but yet nobody's having it, and that bothers me a lot.
Right. Yeah, I think I know exactly what you're talking about. Where just videos pop up on any social media really, and one person's clearly the victim in that segment of the video, so everyone's always jumping on whoever else, you know, saying how horrible they are, especially when it comes to cops.
Yeah. Rough time to be a cop right now.
Yeah, and the thing is, yeah, like you said, obviously it happens. It definitely does. But one, you never see the videos of the cops that just are doing their job on a daily or doing really great things in the neighborhood, you know, because that's not going to get clicks. Also, it's so easy to edit, you know, videos nowadays, just so it can say something that you would like it to say. You know what I'm saying? So you never know what you're going to get when you watch a video on Twitter or YouTube, and it's just like, oh, is that, like, I just watched that, is that real? And if you take that as fact, which a lot of people do, take it as fact, and you're gonna end up looking really stupid when the real facts come out, like you were saying. And a lot of the times, like, news articles aren't linked on these videos and stuff like that. I think a lot of people are just kind of looking for someone to kind of be mad at, angry, to crucify, you know, and it is dangerous, because there have been many times where people have been falsely accused and their lives have been, like, almost ruined because of it, you know, like, I mean, death threats sent to their house, people online finding out where these people are staying and working at and harassing them at work, you know, over a video that put them in a bad light, you know. So, I mean, I don't know, it's super dangerous when stuff like that goes on, especially if there's really no facts. It's just a video, and nobody's really giving any more information to it, and no one's taking the time to kind of look up on their own, be like, okay, well, what really happened here, just so I know, so I can make my own opinion. And also, you know, you gotta, what is it called? crowd mentality, or
hive mentality,
yeah, where everybody, if one person's mad, then the person that sees them, they're gonna get mad, and everyone's just angry, but nobody knows what the problem is or what they're angry about or who they're yelling at. They just all know that we should be mad right now, so I'm gonna start yelling. And then even when facts are presented to them, they'll literally just like, no, that's not true. Like, no matter what you say to them, like literally, like, this is the person in the video right here. I'll tell you, no, I don't want to hear it. This is like, then, it's crazy to me how people can just form an opinion and just refuse to take in any other information that may even sway their opinion to the other side. It's like, you have to be open. You have to have an open mind to things like that. You can't just have one, this is how I feel, and nobody's going to change it. And it's like, well, what if you're wrong, But if you refuse to even accept that you're wrong, then, like, it's going to be hard to really do anything, have a conversation with those people. And that's a lot of people on the internet. I mean, I'm sure I've been a victim of it. I mean, everybody has. So I'm not going to sit here and say I'm better than anybody else, but that's one reason why I stopped going on social media so much. It's just because it's so crazy. Like, I'll watch a bunch of videos and I'm seeing everyone in the comments going crazy, and then I'll see one comment like, yo, like, that's not really what happened, or here's what really happened. But hundreds of comments is talking about the other side, about what they think what they think might have happened, in that video. And it's just crazy that a lot of people don't look at facts or don't take the time to read up on the facts of a situation to form their own opinion. They're just quick to judge. Well, this is true. This is what happened. Now I'm mad. And you shouldn't be mad at anything.
Yeah, and it's definitely a learned lesson we all have to learn eventually. But the part that really kills me is that these people are given that platform, whether it be temporary or or like a platform like ours, where it's established. But if you're on Twitter and you get hundreds of thousands of retweets, that right there is considered a platform because everyone's paying attention to what you're saying. Yeah. So now you have this false information that splits out, and then it's like it spreads like wildfire. And that's something I really don't appreciate. I'm all for getting information out there. I'd be really hypocritical if I said that, but I'm on radio every Monday. But I'm all for it, but I'm all for the right information. And not jumping to conclusions.
Yeah, and that's a big thing in today's media, which is all the fake news, that's just out there for everything, whether it's politics, Republican, Democrat, whether it's, police relations with just minorities, or whether it's male and female relations or anything. Like, there's just so much fake stuff getting put out there, that's being put out as fact, and people are just eating it up, you know what I'm saying, and not even doing any type of secondary research, and the thing is like, you shouldn't necessarily have to do secondary research if something's being presented to you as fact. Like, if the news is telling you something, you should be like, okay, I trust that, I shouldn't have to watch that and then be like, okay, now I'm gonna go look at myself and see if this is actually true. You feel me? Like, that's not how the news should be, but unfortunately that's how it is for both sides. Whether it's left leaning or right leaning. Both sides come up with fake stories or skewed statistics. Or skewed research articles and stuff like that. And it's and you have to sit there and kind of question everything you're seeing. Which sucks, honestly, and it's just tiring. And it kind of makes, I feel like some people just kind of tune out to all of that stuff and not even worry about it. Like, I know some people say they don't even watch the news. Like, they don't even associate themselves with that. Because it's just like,
what's the point?
What's the point of watching it?
I'm going to get the same thing every... I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
You're good.
I'm going to get the same thing every time. Such and such was shot on this side of the city. Trump said this, such and such that. It's going to be the same thing every time. No, nothing new. It's going to make me a little sad to see the things that are being put out on the news, and whether it be Fox News or CBS or whatever. It's going to be the same thing. You could literally watch something on Fox and then turn it to CBS 10 seconds later and then they'll cover it. Because that'll be a major storyline. But is that storyline really major? It'll just be the same thing over and over, and it's boring.
Yeah.
I think media control is a thing.
It is a thing. Media control is a thing.
Where it gets, certain stuff is pushed to us so we don't pay attention to certain things.
That's exactly what happens.
And then something happens, a bill gets signed, or something happens behind our back, and I'm like, oh my gosh, where did that come from? Oh, the article was out there. You should have to go dig and do your research.
Yeah. A lot of, I don't know, it's kind of frustrating for me when it comes to, like, I guess you could, like, politics, for example, or bills that are being passed, or just like laws being voted on, or so-and-so said this, or this is what was said in this 400-page, report.
And no one's gonna read
it. I get, and it's available to everyone, to read. I'm like, all right, cool, like, I get it. But do you really think that the average American is gonna want to sit down, read a 400-page report of just political, just jargon? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Just to get to the middle of it just so they can find what the piece of information they're looking for. Like, no, nobody's gonna do that. You know, and a lot of this stuff is just like people don't know where to find the information from, or even if they do find the information, they don't understand it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm sure the average American, just when it comes to politics, isn't like the smartest person. I know I'm not. You know, but I don't know. I feel like they make it a lot harder for citizens to kind of get the information themselves, because even if they do put it out there, it's gonna be so complicated. You know, like I'm gonna need a dictionary next to me just to like, okay, what does that word mean?
Yeah.
Okay, no, but let me read it in a sentence. Am I pronouncing that? You know what I'm saying? Like it's a lot of work just to get some information that should just be presented to you. It should just be given simply enough to where the average citizen can read that and be like, okay, I know what that means, or I know what that law is how that's gonna affect me, or I know if I should vote on this or not. You know what I'm saying? And so just not even knowing what's going on. But yeah, I mean, like what you were saying with like the media manipulation, so like that's been going on for a while. And I'm talking way back. That's been a thing forever. You know, propaganda and all that stuff. Like you know, you always like hear about propaganda like World War II, like German propaganda and British propaganda and all that stuff. America has propaganda then, and we have propaganda now.
Yeah.
You know, like of course, we're gonna make sure that we look the best. America's gonna make sure America looks the best in our eyes. You know what I'm saying? So if that's a story that they're covering, or whatever the case is, they're gonna make sure they're gonna make that America be the hero almost all the time. But that could just not be the case whatsoever. You know what I'm saying? And like, so yeah, you gotta take everything you watch with kind of a grain of salt. Everything you hear, even what we're saying right now, take what I'm saying right now with a grain of salt, because I could be lying to you. I could be getting money, you know, after the show for saying something, which I'm not. But you never know. You never know. But like, you just gotta take everything that you hear, especially when it comes to media, especially when they're telling you about something, you know, telling you to form an opinion on something. Like, form your own opinion. Yeah. It's great to kind of hear about it from the news, like, because there's some stuff on the news that I wouldn't have heard about if I didn't listen to that. And then you think, oh, okay, that's interesting. Let me go look it up. Like, oh, okay, now I see, you know, I got more information on it. Cool. You know, but whenever you hear something on the news, you got to do your own research so you can form your own opinion. Don't just form the opinion because the news anchors told you this is what to think. This is bad, so you should also think it's bad. You know what I'm saying? Because that may not necessarily be true. You know? Yeah, and another thing is that, you know, you mentioned that when, for example, the 400-page document full of political jargon, average person, I know me personally, I won't be able to understand what's going on. That's also on us as media personalities, whether we're here on the radio or on TV for Fox News, to break down what that says in the best way possible so that the people can understand it. That's on us, and I feel like a lot of that's not happening. Well, it would a lot of the times, for example, like the Mueller report. Okay. I'm pretty sure it was 400 plus pages long. Even if we did read it, I don't think we'd be able to sum it down to like a couple sentences. You know what I'm saying? Like it's that long for a reason. Like there's information in those pages. It's not just a bunch of nonsense being written about. Like there's important information in there. So I mean, you kind of have to, like, the Mueller report's available to read. It's redacted, but the 400 pages are available. I tried to read some of it. I couldn't get through all of it. I mean, and there are some people that did. You know, some people enjoy that type of stuff. But again, like I said, like who's really gonna sit there and read a 400-page report about that? Even if it says something as crucial as, you know, our president, you know, possible collusion or whatever the case is. Like it's, even if you feel strong about it, it's hard to kind of sit down and read that and understand what's being said and kind of sit back and realize like how big of an issue that is or is not. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, you're right. I guess it is up to us to kind of dumb it down for people. But I'm no expert in stuff like that. Correct. That's an example. It's an example, of course. Whereas like we break down hip hop for people. You're right. And we can only break down what you're able to break down. Correct. I mean, like I wouldn't want to. Now if I really wanted to, I can go read the report and come back next week and tell you about it. But I don't want to. Yeah. One and two, like I wouldn't be able to accurately state what I feel it should be said about it. You know what I'm saying? And I think a lot of people probably can't. You know, when it comes to media personalities and these big, you know, research papers being released from either scientists or politicians or really whatever, like unless you know about the subject itself, at least enough to understand what's being said, it's kind of, I wouldn't feel right if I read it, half understood it, and I give my half understood explanation to you You know what I'm saying? And be like, this, yeah, that's what's being said. Then we'd be doing the same thing as like, yeah, like this is what's said, like, you're welcome, you don't have to read it yourself.
Right.
You feel me? Because we'd be doing the same thing if I was telling them how I felt about it. And that's as a fact, which it's never a fact. You just gotta do it yourself. You gotta read it yourself, listen to it yourself, so you can form your own opinion as best as possible. Even if that sucks. That's, you know, I'm not always gonna do it every time. I know you're not gonna do it every time, but that's what has to be done. Especially in this day and age with the way media is. You can get 5 different stories in the same story from 5 different websites that are telling you 5 different things, you know, so you could think 5 different things about this one situation. It's just like, it's so confusing, you know what I'm saying? So you kind of just gotta take bits and pieces from what you're reading from all these different places and piece them together to actually get the truth out sometimes. That's how it feels for me, at least.
100%. You have to understand that what they may say could not be law. I hold everyone accountable. Question everything that you see. You might hear from us, so you hear it on Fox. Question everything. Come to your own level of understanding. Don't just read information that you've already heard. Unless you heard it and you learned it and you're like, okay, well, you do your research. Okay, this is right. Okay, then I can speak for this and I agree with it. But I mean, don't be afraid to form your own opinion. Don't be afraid. This goes back to what we're saying about Zach Fox, that conversation. Don't be afraid to be wrong and be yourself. Don't be afraid to stick your own neck out there to say what you feel is right or say what you want to say. I feel like there's a lot of fear in that. But back to this topic, yeah. You know, perception in the media for a lot of things, they're put out in a lot of different ways. Certain sources aren't credible that are given credit for being credible. You know, like I can speak for me personally. I feel like a lot of people go on Twitter more than they watch news. And with that being said, you know, and I fall victim to this too, where, you know, you see a blue check, you think, all right, that's a verified source. Blue check's gonna be right. That's not always the case. That's just a check for a verified. And if you're not on Twitter, a blue check essentially is verifying that person who there is. Like, there's no, like, someone can make I can make a LeBron James account, but the actual LeBron James is gonna be has a blue check next to his name because that's actually him. They do that on purpose so you can actually follow that person.
You can buy blue checks though, can't you? Because I've clicked on some people that have blue checks by the name, and I'm just like,
I did not know that.
Who is this person?
I didn't know you could buy a blue check.
I feel like I don't know.
Okay.
But I definitely have been on some people's pages where I'm just like, these are just normal people. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. Unless they aren't normal people, I just don't know. I don't know. But yeah, I get what you're saying though. Yeah, 100%. You think the sources are right? I mean, you can even talk about like just NBA. How many times have you heard rumors like, oh, so this is about to happen, this is about to happen, this is about to happen, then none of that happens. You're like, what? Like that sources.
Correct. And like I said, I see someone like a blue check mark. I'm like, okay, well that could be verified. Where it didn't come from Woj or from ESPN or anything like that. You'd be like, all right, well you know what? That's a blue check. I can vouch for that. But the other argument is, what else would I have to go off of?
Yeah, no, you're right. You know, I guess you just gotta go with what you got. You know, I don't know, man. It's tough. You know, like I said, just take everything with a grain of salt. Everything. You have to question everything. You can't just be like, you can't just accept things. Like, oh, okay, thank you for telling me.
Right.
Like, no, you have to. You can be like, oh, thanks for the info. Then you could, even in your head, just be like, okay, well, does that make sense? You know, like, or even question them face to face if you have the opportunity to do that. But you gotta question everything whenever you get any type of information, even if you think it's 100% true. At least give it one thought before you accept it as fact. You know what I'm saying? So that's even with the verified checks or the verified sources and all that stuff. Question them too, because they're not always right. You know, they're not always right. You're only gonna get the truth maybe from the person who's doing it, and that's if they want to give you the truth. They can either lie to you too.
And sometimes we'll never get the truth. I feel like there are certain topics and certain information that we will never know the truth of, and certain questions should never be answered. And I think I'm sure that's a lot of things in American history, but there are things that have gone down that if the public knew, it would be chaos. Which
100%.
Which is, that's understandable to a certain extent. Some stuff I feel like that would help that we should know. Other stuff is just like, maybe we shouldn't tell you guys because we wouldn't know what to do with that information. I get it. But yeah, I do think that there are a lot of times stuff just fades away in the media and we never hear about it. Such and such sued such and such. Such and such got arrested for this, then we never hear about it again.
Yeah.
There's a reason why that happens.
I mean, I don't know. I guess one reason, like, it's like, well, what's the point of bringing it up again? Like once the story's over, like, you're just gonna keep bringing it up every month. Like, do you guys remember when this happened? Like, yeah, we do. You know what I'm saying? So, like, some stories I feel like you can be forgotten about, after a while. Some are a lot bigger than others. But no, I do definitely think that things are made a big deal in the media to hide other things going on that would otherwise be in the limelight. Like, for example, like, always think about all these diseases that swine flu or Ebola and all that stuff, where it's like for the week, 2 weeks it's on the news, you think like, oh, like this is the end, like this is how the zombie apocalypse starts, like I'm scared to go outside, and then out of nowhere it's just gone. Never hear about any of it ever again. Like you don't hear about, this like where that, for that week, 2 week span, and you go check what was done in the government or something like that, and boom, like a bill was passed, and you're like, what? Like I don't even know anything about that.
That'd be a major bill too.
A major bill, exactly. That's because there are certain things that are just pushed in front of you to kind of take your mind off of what was really going on. So you got kind of always just gotta look behind the scenes a little bit. If you think something's like just being made, sensationalized and make it a big deal, be like, okay, that's interesting, but what else is going on? What's really happening? Always gotta be looking.
1000%. All right, guys. Our last talking point. If you are Kevin Durant, do you play? My thing is
no.
This is my thing.
No.
Only thing you can do is go off of what they told you. You're a competitor. You want to win. You want to do these things so you can be great. Do you play again? The medical team clears you. You're in practice. You're doing great. You're dancing in the hallway.
Yeah, one practice that was good.
One good practice.
One good practice the day before the game. And how hard did he even go in that practice? I have no idea.
Right.
And then the practice he had before that was not good at all.
Correct.
And before that, didn't play basketball since May 8th. So you're going from not playing from May 8th to having a bad practice to having a good practice from what we know, because I have no idea what that entailed.
Right.
So the next day, you're going to go into game 5 of the finals and not think you're going to re-injure yourself. Like, bro, you've... At least give me 2 good practices. Give me 2 good practices before you're gonna jump into that game. I don't know. From a competitive standpoint, yeah, I'd want to play. I'd want to be out there with my team. But as even if this is the whole thing about with Kawhi. Like he was cleared to play, but he was like, "Yo, I do not feel like I can perform the way I want to perform right now," and he didn't play. And he, people were dogging him for it. Saying, "Oh, you're quitting this, and that." And I look at him like he feels at least a little bit more comfortable to play, and he just won a whole championship. You know what I'm saying?
And then Finals MVP.
You feel me? Like
health.
Going off of how he felt and what he thought about his body. So I mean, if I was KD personally, because I was saying this before the game even happened. Like if you go in the game, you're gonna re-injure yourself, and that's exactly what happened. Yeah, and I wasn't surprised. It sucks that it happened. It really does, but I was not surprised whatsoever to see that. Like, bro. If I were him, I just would have been like, listen, I'm not gonna play this finals. Like it's not just like I strained my my quad, like it's a little tight. No, bro, like that's a whole calf injury. Like that we know of. It probably wasn't Achilles injury. You know what I'm saying?
See, you think so? Other people saying that Golden State was lying about it, which I don't see the purpose of lying about someone's injury. Everyone was saying like, oh, they're lying about it. They're not telling the truth. It's actually Achilles. What purpose? First off, I think you catch a fine for that, for one.
I have no idea.
Because that's lying to the media. 2, what purpose would they have to
Well, because think about the media frenzy, if they were like, yeah, he tore his Achilles, everyone like, oh my God, they're coming to him, they're coming to Steve Kerr, then they're taking the team. I mean, I don't know if they wouldn't be able to still think about the game, like the finals, but there's a lot more distraction now that one of your top players is out with Achilles injury. They're gonna be talking about the whole. So how do you guys feel about KD? Do you think he's gonna come back? And like, do you think he's gonna come back next year? And everyone's like, yo, can we just like focus on the game? So I can see why they wouldn't want to say that. Even if it was, it could have been a calf injury. I don't know. I really don't. But all I'm saying is, if you're injured and you haven't played since May 8th, and you haven't had a real solid week of practice, you know what I'm saying? Why would you jump into that game and then try to do everything you were able to do before? Like you knew you weren't 100%. Going into that game, so why are you gonna sit there and try to play like you're 100%?
He was going off too.
I know he was going off. Like I know he's KD. That's what I'm saying. So like even when he comes back, like he's still gonna go off. Is he gonna be the same KD? I have no idea. Everyone plays different after injuries like that, so we'll just have to see. But I mean, he's gonna get his buckets. That's not the problem. He's gonna get his buckets. But bro, like I don't know. I was just like I said, I was not surprised when that happened, man. Like you just don't risk it like that. And I understand you want to help the team, you want to win and stuff like that, but this is one championship that you may lose, but this is your career we're talking about.
Yeah.
Like, what if you aren't the same after this?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
When I got the alert that he was gonna play, I'm like, okay, dope. Then when I got the alert, because I wasn't watching the game, the one where he pops Achilles, I got the alert. I'm saying Kevin Durant went down with leg injury. I'm like, this man popped his Achilles, and from an analytic standpoint, it makes sense. a lot of times when your muscles or a part of your body's wrong, your muscles try to compensate for it.
Mm-hmm.
Which is why sometimes they tell you to lift properly with your legs, because now you lift with your back. Your back is trying to compensate, you're going to hurt your back.
Yeah.
Same thing with your Achilles. The calf supports that. Now because your calf's jacked up, your Achilles trying to overcompensate, and then poof, gone.
Yeah.
My thing is, again, you're a brand, and it also goes back to this conversation we had about Zion. Should Zion play or not? You're a brand, you have a whole future looking ahead of you. KD's the future of the NBA. One of the players who's going to be the future of the NBA.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you have this whole brand you have to understand. This is just a series. You're one of the best players on the planet. You'll be back in the playoffs. You'll be back in the finals. Do you play again? From a competitive standpoint, honestly, me, if they cleared me and I feel healthy, I think I'll play again. Honestly. Unless someone in my corner is telling me no, just me personally, I think I'm playing again.
It depends on how I feel. Like, if I feel like I can perform to the point where I want to perform, then maybe I would. But you gotta think about how many times has this backfired on players, or like how many times. Look at Derrick Rose. You know, people are getting mad at him for his whole knee situation, not wanting to come back and play right away. I'm like, yo, like this is not just a hobby for them. This is their job. This is their career. Like exactly. So if I personally am not 100% physically and mentally. Being 100% physically is one thing, because you can come back at 80%, 90% and play. You know what I'm saying? That's not a big thing. But when it's mental, a mental thing, like if you don't think you can play the way you want to play, then no, I'm not going to step out there, because I'm not going to play the same way. You know, like I want to be 100% mentally before I even step on that court. You feel me? So I mean, and I don't know where he was mentally. I obviously we all know where he was physically, not 100%, but. You know, I'm not mad at him for what he was trying to do, get out there and help his team, but I don't think he should have done that. I think it was a horrible decision. Clearly, it backfired on him, and he tore his Achilles. But I mean, why would you just don't do that when you have an injury that serious? To me, at least, even if it is the finals, because he wouldn't have came back if it was regular season. It was chilling, wait till that to heal up. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I don't think he comes. I think you can take more time. If it's regular season, they're gonna take way
more time. So why, if you're gonna take way more time in the regular season to actually come back and heal 100%, why would you not? Even though I know Stephon is like, get it, I get it, bro. I get it. Trust me, I do. But if you're gonna take 2, 3, 4, 5 months to heal up, but you're gonna take a month and a couple days to heal up for the finals, is like, that doesn't make sense. That doesn't make any sense, because clearly you're not 100% mind or body. And you're going to re-injure yourself, which is exactly what happened to him.
All right, guys, we got to wrap it up. Thanks for tuning in with us. Where can the people find you at?
All social medias, just type in my name, Pierce Anderson. I will pop up, usually the first one on the screen.
Devonn Overstreet on Facebook, DShoot715 on Twitter, Devonn on Instagram. You can find us at YouTube at In School Detention. And of course, find us here Monday, 5 to 6 p.m. here on WRLR 98.3. Thank you guys so much. Have a great week.